Well, hello to Man versus Fat, the blue teams by never losing. And today we have the main man, Jack. We call him the manager because he doesn't play. So, Jack, fire away. Can you tell us a little bit about the situation of how you came to Man versus Fat, please?
Absolutely, mate. Thanks for having me. So I joined Man v Fat. I joined from the very start, which I think we've worked out to be August 2021. Um, and I had played football kind of on and off probably since school time. I had been
Yeah.
either on the side, six aside, down the park with brothers, down the park with mates, all of that sort of thing. So I've always been in and around playing football. And I've dabbled occasionally with kind of weight loss programs and tried Slimming World with my wife and tried those sorts of things, and it just never really stuck. Um, but Man v Fat's certainly been different. It's something I've committed to,
Yeah.
obviously, for quite a long time now. And although I haven't lost anywhere near as much weight as I'd hoped, much like what Russ said, I certainly am better off for it. I'd be heavier without it. Obviously, I had a bit of a gap recently over the summer period and then injuring myself now. I've certainly noticed without being as integrated or involved as I had been previously, I've started to notice I put the weight back on. So I need to get properly stuck into it, and it certainly helps to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Then. So you said about Slimming World, and you said it didn't really sort of like gel with you. Is it because, I mean, not being disrespectful, it's full of women talking about Prosecco and how do they actually get around
Yeah,
losing
absolutely.
weight?
Yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb because I wasn't a middle-aged woman um, sat in a room, and I would go and I'd feel bad because I wouldn't hang around for the meetings after, and those meetings certainly helped my wife. So I was almost kind of holding her back a little bit in that
Yeah.
sense. But I'd have good weeks and I'd have really bad weeks, and then just knock it on the head and try again in another 6 months and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't think it's made for us really, and I think Man v Fat certainly is.
So now you've been a Man v Fat. Do you know roughly how much you've actually lost overall, or do you not want to say, or do you just think it's
I can't remember. I think I'm down about I think 10 kilograms from when I first started. The lowest I've been down is about 15, 12 or 13, I think.
yeah,
And then I've fluctuated ever since. And yeah, I know it's cliche, but with the new year fast approaching, I'm definitely gearing up towards that. I want to lose as much as I can before Christmas, so Christmas isn't so heavy and so damaging. And then from the new year, hopefully being able to be back playing, but also just back on it in terms of the scale side of things.
so you say about the getting back onto playing. So how have you found the sort of like I'm gonna call it the layoff period of watching the others play and you not being able to play?
Absolutely hated it. I
Yeah.
hate every second of missing not playing. I think that's the big thing for me. There is obviously the camaraderie and everything else that Man v Fat brings, but not being out on the pitch, not contributing on the pitch is an absolute killer. And the last time I had this much time out of football was when I was 15, 16, and I dislocated my ankle and broke my leg playing football as well. So yeah, I was out for a little bit longer with that because I had to have plates and screws on my ankle. So
Oh,
um,
right.
I haven't been out of football for this long since then, since I was 16. So
Yeah.
it's been hard. It certainly has been hard, and it's a real good scheme that Man v Fat have done, bringing in
Yeah.
the
It
injured
is.
membership thing, so I can still be involved and contribute. But nothing beats that kind of extra that reward on a Friday night after working hard all week to shift the scales in the right way is having a kick around with you boys, and I miss it dearly. It's really difficult, and it's also really difficult coming down to watch you, especially when it's really cold and wet and horrible.
Yeah.
It's not nowhere near as fun, unfortunately. So yeah, it's I can't wait. My official return, the time I'm allowed to return um, by with Man v Fat is on the 20th of December. So I'll probably be able to play that friendly week, the last week that we have before we all break up for Christmas and whatever else. Which I think is probably a safe introduction back to it a little bit, not competitive, take it easy, do that sort of thing, and then raring to go whenever it is we return after New Year.
See, I was going to ask you about that. On your return, are you going to be doing any special, like say, warm-ups, cool downs? Is there anything that you got to look out for?
Yeah, there's a lot I need to do. One, I did my son's football training last night, and I was kicking the ball around probably more than I have been for a long, long time with them. Even a little bit of jogging, a little bit of running. We had a bit of a fun session with them, and my knee was fine. But what I noticed is almost like secondary injury. So my ankle was stiff and sore, the bad ankle, and I think that's because I've not been putting it through the punishment and pain that it's been used to for so long. Yeah, just and then just a few muscular aches and pains, probably just because where I've been dormant for so long. I guess it's time to get things going again. So long long answer to your short question is yeah, I need to make sure I warm up properly. I always see Jordan doing it before on a Friday night, and then
Yeah, he
think I
does.
don't bother. I take a little bit just to run around on the pitch to warm up, but I should do it properly.
You're not going to go running and jumping into the river, though, to get
No,
that
no,
extra bit of
no.
excitement in.
I don't think that warmed him up. I think that might have, might have cooled him down somewhat.
So how did that go, actually, having your brothers there at the time? Was it easy, hard? Was it
It
good?
was it was really good, yeah. And again, we've always played football together in some sort of capacity, but hadn't played together competitively, in inverted commas, since kind of like church football that we did, and that
Yeah,
was quite a while ago. It's got to be about 9 or 10 years ago because I think I knocked it on the head when my eldest was born. Um, so yeah, it was really good. Me and Luke butt heads more than me and Jordan do. So there was times that we would have a go at each other and annoy each other, and it's something that we just got to get used to playing with each other again. Jordan, on the other hand, I know as a man of few words, but yeah, I tend to not argue with him so much. I guess it's just closer in personalities and styles and how we are. But yeah, it's been really good, and I do really enjoy it. And I hope George continues. I'm sure he's going to do it at least a couple more seasons, hopefully, and we'll
yeah,
see where it goes from there. It. I hate to say it, but he's a fantastic footballer, and he reads the game really well, and I think he raises the level of everybody else around him.
he
Um,
does. Yeah,
Luke, exactly the same. I must admit, Luke is a very, very good footballer. And one thing that Luke has always been very good at is 100%. Luke gives absolutely 100% in everything. You saw with the weight
yeah, I
loss, how
did.
he did it and how he was with that. Luke does nothing by half measures. He has missed 100%. If he's in, he is in. And that's a trait I wish I had, to be completely honest. He's very, very good with that. So yeah, it's been really good playing with him again, and I hope it continues.
Well, that's good. So now we're going to find a little bit about you then, Jack. We need to
Okay.
find about your hobbies and things so we can, any of the others can join in and sort of like help you along the way and collect
Yeah,
things,
cool.
something.
Yeah. So, in terms of sporting hobbies, golf was something I did an awful lot. I'm very much a fair weather golfer. I haven't played since a golf holiday that I had in September. That is partly down to the injury, but partly I just can't stand the wet and the cold when playing
Yeah,
golf. I think it's a game that should be played in the sun and enjoyed in the sun. Um, Luke will thoroughly disagree with me that because Luke plays every Saturday morning, regardless of wind, rain, or shine.
oh,
What other hobbies do I have? I've obviously got two young children and two young dogs, so I'm very occupied with them over the weekends, and obviously sharing that with my wife and the duties of being a father and being a responsible pet owner. Is certainly lots of dog walks and taking my son to skate parks a lot of the time now. He's
yeah,
suddenly got into that, so he's thoroughly enjoying that. So, um, sporting hobbies outside of golf and football, not really any. I really want to get into paddle tennis. I've seen it blow up in the US, and also I've seen it get very, very popular here. And there's soon to be a big indoor court being built in Creekmore, just around the corner from me. So I'd love to give that a proper go and see how that is. I've always enjoyed tennis. I've just not been
yeah,
very good at it. It's quite punishing again on the joints and big old courts running around when you're playing singles. I think paddle gives you a bit more, a much smaller court to work
yeah.
on and a bit more technical stuff. So yeah, I'd really love to give that a go and see how that gets on. Um, Outside of that, a bit of PlayStation gaming with a lot of the time with Luke and some other friends as well. There's a few of us in Man v Fat that have got a little WhatsApp group going that we Harry's one of them as well, and Ryan actually. We play Call of Duty and those sorts of things, but nothing else particularly as a hobby. Work certainly keeps me busy as well, so all good stuff.
You able to talk about your work at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Work. I think is an absolute huge factor in my weight troubles
Yeah.
because I spend a lot of the time on the road. I spend on average 2 nights a week out the house, as in nights away. And when that happens, food is catered for, food is paid for, and um, I have less control over what I'm eating, but I'm also a bit more frivolous with what I eat and probably not as regimented and tight as I should be if I was, for instance, eating something at home that my wife or I had prepared. So that certainly has an impact. Funny enough, I was talking to my boss about this exact thing a couple of nights ago. We've both noticed putting on considerable amount of weight doing the job that we do, and it's just something that unfortunately comes part and parcel with it. But I'm determined to break that kind of repetitiveness of it.
Do you think it's when you go to service stations and things like that? It's just that the
Yeah.
food is just
Yeah, you're either paying
hard.
like 15 quid for a sandwich or you get something that you just quick and easy, which is often your McDonald's, your KFCs, your things like that. And it's yeah, it's not easy. It's certainly not easy. I shouldn't I'm not making any excuses because it's up to me inevitably what I'm putting in my mouth, and I could prepare food before, and all the things that you should be doing I don't really do, and I think it's going to be part of the kind of mentality I need to change is to be more prepared and not give myself the excuse.
I'm going to say something. That might be sound a bit controversial. I don't know. I have a wife that wants to lose weight, and it's sometimes it's like counterintuitive kind of thing. It's you're trying to do one thing, they want to do, they're following another plan, and things don't always match up. And there's
Yeah,
how do you find that?
yeah. I I don't really struggle with it too much because she always cooks whenever she cooks. It's well, whenever we cook at home, it's always a healthy, good meal. What we have though is we tend to have a routine of when it comes to the weekend, all rules are off, and we generally get a takeaway, and we're just a bit more loose and frivolous with it then, and that inevitably doesn't help anything. And then you spend the week kind of trying to work it off and regain
Yeah,
it, and the whole the whole the whole moment on the lips, lifetime on the hips kind of mentality with it is that you eat it and you feel okay or feel good for a little bit, and then you end up regretting it and you feel groggy because you've eaten naff food and that sort of thing. So yeah, she's super supportive with it and will always do something healthy. We've got a healthy dinner tonight that she's very kindly prepared, and that helps. It always helps. I
yeah.
think it's when I'm on my own and making my own decisions and not under her care. It's probably the fairest way to say it. I'm too frivolous with what I have and too loose with my rules, and I need to be tighter, definitely.
Okay, we've been doing the steps challenge again this week, and just
Yes.
see you've been putting some good numbers in. How do you
Yeah.
find that with your, as it say, bad knee?
Well, the injury, the knee, I don't actually have any problem with at all at the moment, which is really good. Even after um, running about with the lads last night, I've not noticed anything. I almost played tonight, but I decided, and my wife had the better judgment than me to kind of say probably not yet. I'm due to play first time again Tuesday night at Littledown, so it'll give me a good indication of where things are with it. I'll certainly take it easy. But walking's absolutely fine. I spent a few days in London this week. I'm back in London again tomorrow, and quite a considerable amount of walking to do, just because it's a lot easier than driving into London. I generally drive outskirts and leave the car and hop on the tube and
Oh
walk
yeah.
between meetings and whatever else I've got to do. So yeah, that works out well. I tell you what, Josh couldn't have picked a colder, wetter week to do it on. Even tonight, I've been walked the dogs this evening. It's so cold and bitterly cold with a cold wind as well. It's just one of those things. But yeah, it's you got to get it done. And having people like yourself, Josh, Jordan, Ryan, all putting some serious numbers in always motivates me as well, and kind of encourages me to want to
Nice.
do more. I really enjoy the incentives that they're adding into this. I think it's really good and something that me and Josh are going to do as part of our me, Josh and Ben are going to do as part of our Lose to Win podcast is create not for goals, so you don't earn anything for your team for it, but we're going to have like a belt that somebody you have heavyweights, so two people will go against each other, and
Yeah.
last man standing in the season with the most weight loss will get that reward or whatever. And yeah, we've got a few things to sort out and decide how we're going to do it, but that should be up and running for the beginning of next season, which is also sadly the last season as a blue, isn't it? Well,
It
all
is,
us
yeah.
together. Yeah, I can't believe how quick that rotation's come round. So yeah, we'll have to make it a good one.
Yeah. I mean, you were the captain, then
I
I
was, yeah,
am the captain, and then
yeah,
now Connor's going to be the captain. And so
yeah. Pass it
hopefully,
on.
there's three different captains, three different seasons. That's pretty
It's
good
a good way
going.
of doing it. It's very, very noble of you to pass it on. I only passed it on, I must admit, because I was taking the time out. I probably still would be it now if I didn't. But I think it's a great idea, and Con is a fantastic choice for it. And I think Harry will be really good as a vice as well. So um, yeah, let's watch this space. A big final push from us all to try and win something
Yeah, that'd be good.
next season would be amazing.
Okay. So is there anything else that you want to impart on us? The whiz by words of wisdoms from yourself?
um, No, the
Anything?
only thing I would say is having spoken to a lot of people that have been successful either in our program or another Man v Fat
Yeah.
program across the country is that consistency is the most important thing with it. Being consistent. I think Josh is an absolute shining example of how consistent he is with what he's doing and how he's doing it to get himself into the team a week. I think it's been every week bar one.
Yeah.
Um, this season. I think since he's been doing it, maybe he's not been in it twice since he's been doing it, but regardless, he's absolutely smashed it. And the consistency that he's shown with that is inspirational, but an exact example of how the consistency builds that success. It makes it work, and if you can create new habits by being consistent, you'll win. You'll come out on the other side of it.
I mean, I did say that this was going to be the last one of these that I was going to do because you're going to be the last one. But as you've just said about Josh, Josh has actually said that he's going to come on next week. So
Oh,
and
amazing!
he's going to tell us hopefully about how he's done it and how he goes
Yeah,
forwards.
fantastic. I can't wait to hear it. He's been fantastic, and I'll be very strongly putting him forward for whatever individual I think clubman of the year, clubman
Yeah,
of the season, or something. I'll be passing on to Steve, and I hope everybody else in the team, if you get an opportunity to have a say on it, I know you will have a say on it, or as a recommendation, I want to put him forward for it because he has been incredible and really good for all of us. I think.
he's been good in the chat. He's been good in every different area, hasn't he? He's come out of
I
his
just wish you
shell.
told me about this step workout thing sooner. I
I
thought he
know.
was actually walking 20k steps a day. I was thinking, how on earth do you get the time to do that? Where are you going? You must be freezing cold. And it turns out he's found a way to get his steps in, but doing it as a Mr. Motivator video.
It is. I've done it once or twice. It is so hard. It's just
Is
not
it?
easy.
I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it a crack if I get a chance this evening. If not tomorrow, definitely before we weigh in. I might not get it in time for the steps numbers, but we'll see.
Oh well. Well, thank you very much, Jack, for coming on and
Hey, thank you,
let's
thank you so much for doing this as well, mate. It's been really good learning about everybody else, and I speak for everybody in the team. We appreciate everything you've done as a captain, so thank you.
thank you very much. Okay.
It's a pleasure, mate. No problem.
Good evening. Bye then.
Good evening. Thank you.